So the Big Ten and Michigan have come to some sort of handshake emoji agreement where Michigan and Jim Harbaugh have accepted the Big Ten's 3-game suspension punishment. Investigation over, at least as far as the Big Ten is concerned. The investigation into sign stealing, et cetera, is over. There is no hearing on Friday. So unfortunately, for some out there, you're going to have to talk about a football game, absent Jim Harbaugh, of course, but you're going to have to talk about Michigan, Maryland. Did you guys know they play this weekend, by the way? No? I'm seeing a lot of head nods. No. Yeah, they do play this weekend. Talk about that game a little bit later. But in the meantime, I happen to think that the sort of fence riding technique we took on this show about this was right all along. Because as you can clearly see, this was not a scandal to end all scandals in the Big Ten. This was not, as some people framed it, one of the biggest scandals in college football history. No, it was never that. But it also wasn't nothing. It wasn't something that was just meant to smear Michigan's name. It wasn't a nothing burger, which I hate when it's even used in politics. I especially hate it when it's used in college football. There was something there. That's why they agreed to this. So neither side that was shouting at each other, believe it or not, was 100% in the right. Neither side had all the facts on their side. There was plenty enough. I can pretty well rest assured there was plenty enough to concern Michigan to the point that, 24 hours before that hearing, where you potentially get a lot of people that have to be on the record and you get into discovery and all this sort of thing, right before that happens, they say, okay, we'll agree to it. Look, I saw the movie The Rock. Like, I know exactly what just happened. If you've never seen The Rock, not the wrestler, the movie, really good movie. Really good movie. A lot of very, very timeless quotes in that movie. But essentially what we had Ed Harris, who led several tours in Desert Storm back in the 90s, Black Ops, and lost a lot of men. But since it was a Black Ops, the U.S. government disavowed all knowledge. They didn't compensate the families for the deaths. And he stewed on it for a few years and decided, I'm done stewing on this. And so he did what anybody would do. He hired some mercenaries. He went and loaded himself up with some VX gas rockets. He took hostage a tourist group on Alcatraz Island, and he pointed 3 rockets at downtown San Francisco, called the president and said, if you don't compensate the families, I'm going to kill half San Francisco. Great movie plot. And then Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery saved the day. Spoiler alert. But in the meantime, it turns out Ed Harris was just talking big. Ed Harris was actually a human with a pretty big heart who had no intention of blowing up half of San Francisco. It just so happened that at the 11th hour, we found out because they called his bluff. And he even looks at his men and says, hey, it's over. I'm not a madman. They called our bluff. That's kind of how I picture the room at Michigan. We're going to talk big, which, by the way, would have been my strategy as well. We hope they back down. But if they don't, and they got enough on us, at the 11th hour, we're going to agree to this. It's kind of a no one wins, but also no one totally loses situation. Tony Petitti kind of wins, the Big Ten commissioner. So this was a classic Ed Harris Rock situation. The storm, as I've said 2 times this week, and I will now say a 3rd time, is clearing for Michigan. Now, you may say to yourself, or you may say to me in the comment section, no, this is just the beginning. Josh, think about what the NCAA is going to do to them. The NCAA is not going to do anything to them aside from fine them a whole lot down the road, and that will be after years of legal ping-ponging back and forth. That's a legal term there, legal ping-ponging. If I'm a Michigan fan, I don't stay up late tonight or any night worried about what the NCAA is going to do down the road. I don't even know that they'll exist by the time punitive measures are meant to be handed down to me. So I got my conference off my back. My coach is going to miss some games. I don't think my team is necessarily going to suffer all that much from losing that coach. And actually, on the other side of the coin, maybe we'll benefit from it. We're a player-led team. We're a veteran-laden team. There's probably no team in America more equipped to operate without their leader on Saturday than Michigan without Jim Harbaugh. So I look at it, And it's not exactly the way I thought it was going to conclude, but it largely concluded probably the best way it could conclude. And I know a lot of people, again, who care more about the drama around the sport than the sport itself are kind of upset. Hey, I'm just excited that we get to talk about college football games again. You know, it is November, after all. These are not the spring meetings. We do have competitive games ready to be played 48 hours from now.